Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Karen, Lavender Clothesline, and today I have a whole video for you that is a culmination of the thrift road trip I took this week. The road trip thrifting, something like that. And I want to show you some of the more interesting pieces that I picked up. Now today is going to be mostly hard goods. I might throw one or two pieces of clothing in, including this jacket that I'm wearing. Now, just a disclaimer, I did pick this up the week before. I didn't get this on the road trip, but I thought this was a great find. This is a vintage silk Japanese kimono, and I really like this. Not really practical for my lifestyle. You know me, I'm all about stretchy pants when I'm out thrifting, but I figured I'd put this on to show you how beautiful this is. It's all handmade and really beautifully done, and you can find this in my store, in my eBay store, Lavender Clothesline, and I am also Lavender Clothesline on Instagram for those of you who'd like to follow me over there. I do mainly post on Instagram the items that I've sold that I might have shared on these YouTube videos so that you guys can have a completion in the story of the items I pick up. I bring you along shopping and thrifting, and then I bring the items home. I'll show you a lot of the items in these thrift haul videos, and then I post over on Instagram of what the items brought so that you can get a real sense of what I'm picking up, what I'm processing and putting into my eBay store, and then what is selling through and the price I got for it. So stick around, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get started. I'm not going to mention which store what came from because it's all a blur at this point, but I will try to remember what I paid for items, and then, like I said, report back on Instagram what the items sell for. So I have to be honest, things are selling fairly quickly when I show them on these videos. So if you see something you like, you might want to grab it once it hits my store. Now, some things hit my store right away if they're easy to list, and some things will take a couple of days, if not a week. The larger linens I wash, delicate cycle, and block dry, meaning air dry them, and pack them and photograph them, take a lot of time with them. So if you see linens that you like, those won't be in my store for a couple of days at least. But hard goods, hopefully, should be in my store fairly quickly. So the first item that I found was a set of these signs. Now these signs have hooks up top and the loops below, and they are painted on both sides. I don't know if this sign actually hung from an outdoor or an indoor. It seems like it might have been indoor. They're fairly in good shape, and they advertise different drinks. And I found, I'm gonna try to hold all of these, ready? One, so this is grapefruit crush, creamsicle crush, orange crush, key lime crush, mango crush, and lemon crush. Now, I don't know if these were commissioned for somebody to paint them. I've never seen these before. So if you know that these came from a certain store, will you let me know below? But I paid $7 for a set of 6, and I think these are spectacular. Great for a bar, for a kitchen, just anywhere, beach house. I love these. And like I said, they all have the hanging hooks, so they all attach onto each other. I'm gonna go ahead and attach them and see if I can hold them up for you. Okay, so I've hooked all the signs together. Are you ready for this fun find? How great is this? I fell in love with this. This will be a hard one not to keep, but my kitchen really isn't multicolored. You know me, my house is pretty neutral, but I thought this was a phenomenal find. Like I said, I paid $7 for it, and we shall see what it brings. It's in great shape. It does have a little bit of weathering, but I think it just adds to the beauty of this piece, and I was thrilled to find this. It was on the shelf in my cart immediately. I didn't even check out if there was any splintering in the wood, or I just fell in love with this, so great find. The next item that I want to show and talk about is vintage material or yardage or fabric. I love finding beautiful fabric that is in great condition, still on the bolt, and I love getting it at a great price. So this next item I did post on Instagram to see what you guys over there thought of what decade this came from. Most of you voted the late 60s, early 70s, and I concur with that. That's my time frame. I was born in 1960, so I am turning 60 this year. I just ordered a t-shirt for myself that says this is 60. Very excited for being 60, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this fun fabric. Can you guys see this? This fabric is definitely vintage. I can tell by the end. Let me see if I can turn that around for you, and I'll show you the other end of the bolt. You can see that this has age, which is great, and the fabric is in great condition. It's 48 inches wide, and it's a really nice quality, and I figured somebody would want this. When I posted it on Instagram, one of my followers over there let me know that people in Japan might be interested in this, and I agree with that. Sometimes when I list something that I feel will appeal to the Japanese market, I will try to find out what keywords they are putting in to search for the items that they think are hot, that they want. So I'm going to do some research that way. I know a few terms are things like dolly-key. I don't know if that's still a current trend where women dress beautifully extensive in a very like doll, young, fresh, lacy. I'll try to insert a photo here. Sorry, Lee, for making you insert photos. Lisa's my daughter. She does my editing here on YouTube. So getting back to the fabric, I try to look at the fabric and realize or think about what market the fabric, the vintage fabric, is going to appeal to. So if it's a heavy brocade, I might put like old Hollywood Regency, and go that way. If it's a beautiful light linen, like I've had some gorgeous Ralph Lauren linens, I'll put Beach House in the title. But with this, I agree with that follower on Instagram. So thank you so much for giving me that idea to use keywords with this fabric that might appeal to different markets that I would not have thought about. So that's always a great thing, to start to think about who your buyer is and try to think of keywords that will appeal and bring in that buyer. So once again, very fun fabric. And I said yes to this. Did I say what I paid? I believe I paid $6.99 for this. So great find. And I'm going to say there's got to be over 20 yards here. It's very heavy, maybe even 30 yards. So thrilled to find this fabric. Okay, we're switching gears. So you ready to switch gears? I'm going to see if I can show this. This is a Kors Grizzly bear. It's like a mirror, but it's painted on the mirror. And I thought this was great. And the back is marked with the sticker, the original sticker. I love when things identify themselves. It makes my work so much easier. So this is the Kors Nature series. They did a series, I think I've seen, I want to say Fox and a few others. I've never been able to pick it up. This is my first one. And this is number 6 in the series, Grizzly Bear. So I thought this was great. I paid $7 again. $7 was kind of the price point that day, and I'm expecting this to bring between 50 and 60, if not higher. Wooden frame, really nice condition, and I will just pack this very carefully. Any kind of pictures in frames or whatever, I pack in multiple layers to protect the glass. The next item is unmarked, but I love this style. This is a vintage mixing bowl, and it's in green. I love these. Now, when you find these, one of the telltale ways to tell if it's really vintage or if it's, a contemporary reproduction piece is the amount of shelfware on this piece. Now, if the base does not have glaze, you will see it darken from sitting on a shelf over time. This one's a little bit harder to tell because they glazed it completely. A lot of times this base here or this rim is not glazed, but I believe this is true vintage just from the oxidization on the clay part that is not glazed, if that makes sense. And what did I pay for this? I paid $4 for this. Now it does have an imperfection in it from time of manufacture. There's like a line in the glaze. It's not a crack or any kind of damage. So of course I'll disclose that, but I thought this was beautiful and I said yes to this bowl. The next item that I wanted to show you was this purple amethyst bottle. I should open the curtains and let the sunlight in. This thing is beautiful. Now this says lemon balm on this side and uses iced tea, hot tea, I can't even say that, antispasmodic and potpourri. This is Clevenger Brothers. It's true vintage and really, really pretty. I think I paid $3 for this, and I think these go for around the $20 to $25 mark. Don't quote me on that, I've forgotten already. I did look it up, and I believe this one is listed. Some of the items that you see today are listed, some are waiting to be listed, and some are sold already, and they sold so quickly, but I pulled them out just right before I shipped them. The next item I know nothing about, but I saw it. It seemed like decent quality. Now I don't pick up a lot of these, but I thought this one was good, so I'm going to show you what I found. So I saw this sitting on a shelf. How terrible. $3.99 they wanted for this. This is put out by Pulse. Still has a little bit of cobwebs in there. But I thought this was very nice, in good shape. The skins are in good shape. I did comp and put Pulse, the name Pulse in, just to make sure that it was a quality brand, which it is. I don't know that I saw bongos or tom-toms, I think these are called, but I felt for the $4 investment that I would say yes to these. Great shape. I always check the wood to make sure there's no splits or cracks, and these are in very nice condition. Now, I don't know what those are going to bring, but like I said, for the $4 investment, and I might have to sit on them for a while, I figured, realistically, can I get $30 for those? And I felt I could, so that's why I went ahead and picked them up. This next item I had never heard of, but I knew by the amount of detail that it was a good collectible. How cool is this? This is called King of the Mountain. And I don't know if people are using this in their train setups, in their whole landscape of trains, or if this is something that people are just collecting. So this is put out by a company called Schmidt, and I believe this is 1992. Howell Davis was the artist. I thought this was great. And this goat here, his little back legs are a little loose, but I figured this was good. I picked him up anyway. I listed him and he flew out of the store. I mean, this didn't stay more than, I'm going to say, a couple of hours. I had this listed. And what did this bring? Oh dear, I don't even remember. I'm going to say $40, $45, something like that. So maybe you guys have heard of this before. So Schmidt, Howell Davis, King of the Mountain. I said yes. Having said that, I did pick up a second one of those figurines. What one is that? Shearing Sheep, I think. And unfortunately, it got broken while we were processing. But no worries. I think I'm even going to sell that one with one of the sheep, I think, broke off. And I'm going to go ahead and list it because it can be glued. I'm not going to glue it. But I thought I will drop the price way back and sell it for something like, I don't know, $15 or $20. And the person who buys it, it'll be fully photographed and disclosed. And I'm not afraid of flaws sometimes. I don't purposely pick up, most of the times, items that have flaws. But when I feel an item is desirable enough or somebody's going to be able to fix it, sometimes I go ahead and say yes. But as a general rule, you know me, I'm always breaking the rules. As a general rule, I don't pick up chipped, or I don't mean to pick up chipped items. Staying with the figurine theme, I found this beauty, hummingbirds with, what kind of flower is this? This is a iris. I had to think for a moment. How pretty is this? Birds in flight, and it is marked on the bottom ruby-throated hummingbird with orchid. It's an orchid. I should know this. Fine porcelain and bronze. I'm going to put on my glasses so I can see the tiny print to see who's putting this out. So this one is 1989 Marori, if I'm saying that right. Maurari, I believe. And I thought this was just spectacular. I think this is listed. I think I paid $2 for it, and I have no idea what I put it into eBay for. Forgive me for not knowing all the details. As usual, I am running. I am really running full speed, and I'm not going to be able to keep up this pace forever. So something's going to have to go sooner or later, but for now, I'm going with the flow. I'm doing it. And yeah, I thought this was a great find. This next item is a Coppercraft Guild vintage, fully copper. I'm going to call it a wall hanging or a picture. Now it's funny because the Goodwill sticker says $6.99 and the side sticker says the set was $2.50. So I'm not quite sure what I paid for this, but either way, I'm convinced I can make profit on either one of those buy-in prices. Sometimes I miss things between filming, picking things up, putting it in my car, you know, just all over the place, running back and forth between clothing and hard goods, which I enjoy so much. I love this business, I love this job, but sometimes I have to let go if I make a small mistake. Now I try my best not to make any expensive mistakes, which so far I've been really blessed not to take any huge hits from just running so much and, you know, keeping the pace. But I thought this was really good. I thought somebody would want this, and I said yes to this. And I did not get a second one. I don't know what the set price was about, but we're just going with the flow. This next item, I absolutely love this aesthetic. I showed this in one of the buying trips. This is a student-made piece, I'm pretty sure. It does have a sort of signature here, and I did use magnifying glass. I think it's the person's first name. I don't recognize it as a famous potter or artist. Not that I, know a lot of potter's marks, but I said yes to this. Look how gorgeous this is. Whoever did this did a beautiful job. And not only does it have this tree design, but very lightly, it almost seems like the sun or the moon. I think it's the sun setting. So pretty. To me, this is arts and crafts style. But anytime you find something like this in an arts and crafts, mission style, Art Nouveau, any of those terms, yes, absolutely yes. This is a very desirable aesthetic. And the way I learn or start to learn about those styles, I shared this once before on Casey's channel, Rockstar Flipper. He and I got together and talked. When you don't know what pieces look like from a certain decade or a certain style, you put the key term into Pinterest and then let the pictures scroll. You'll get a better idea of what period of time it belongs to. So I'm convinced that this is arts and crafts style, and I said yes to this. I believe I paid $3 for this. I should go back and look at the video because it's probably in the video, but I'm not going to take that time. Just know I didn't pay a lot for it. And I believe I have this on for, I'm going to say $45, give or take. I'm not even sure. Okay, we are just very uncertain about everything today. Thanks so much for sticking with me. And just know that I am running full pace most days. So if I don't know something, if I've forgotten something, would you give me grace and just extend patience with me? I am trying my best to let you know what I do remember, what I do know, and the rest we're just going with the flow. So thanks so much for all your encouragement. I appreciate you guys. Let's go to the next item. This next item is Hager, and Hager is made in the United States. Beautiful pot. I'm going to call this a cobalt blue. I don't know if that's what Hager calls it. And it has the original foil sticker, Hager Floral, right there. And it's probably going to say where it's made. Copyright 2001, Illinois. So Hager was made in Illinois. Now, Royal Hager, I believe, brings more money than Hager Floral. I think there are certain grades of it. I'm not exactly positive about that, but I said yes to this planter, and this I believe I paid $5 for, but I said yes to this. This next item, when I saw it on the shelf, I didn't think this was going to bring any kind of money. I believe I paid $1.99 for him, but look how sweet he is. It's a little elephant statue. Again, it's just a resin, but he is holding a bouquet of flowers. in his trunk. So sweet. I love him. I believe I paid $2 for him. He's already in my store, and I'm gonna guess, I have no idea, under 20 that I'm charging for him. So cute. The next item is this clock that I realized had a few issues. The clock itself is up top, and then we have a mirror, and then we have two elephants with jewels in their tusks and a middle diadem jewel, I gotta say. See if I can get all of my lighting out of the way. Now the clock itself is a little bit off-centered. I think that can be fixed. I'm not touching it, but I said yes to this. It's battery operated. Now I did check for corrosion. There's no corrosion. You always want to check the battery housing to see if there's any corrosion in there, because that gets messy. So unless you have a really high-end item, I say don't pick up things that have the battery had corroded in it. But I did say yes to this with the clock being a little bit wonky. And I thought this was great. This again is listed in my eBay store, and I believe I paid $5 for this. So I said yes. There's no markings on it to say who made this. If I had to guess, it seems vintage. Now, how do I know that? The amount of dust that was collected in the grooves of the carvings was very extensive, and sometimes dust is a telltale sign for how long the item is sitting. Now, some houses or warehouses, wherever this has been stored, could be dustier, but old dust to me looks different than new dust. Does that make sense? I know that's a crazy thing to claim, but sometimes I look at how much natural dust is on an item, and it looks like over time that happened. There are other telltale signs, markings, that will show you if something is vintage, and that can be quite extensive for different items. So that's something you just learn over time. The next item I picked up, I know nothing about, 0%, but he was on the shelf. He was the first item I found that day. In the cart, he went immediately. I found this. I'm gonna say he's Chinese wise man. How's that for naming a statue? Now this is all carved. There's no marking on the bottom. This doesn't look terribly old. I don't think this is antique. I'm gonna say vintage. Now in the outside world, I always heard that vintage was 30 years and more and antique was 100 years. I think on Etsy, vintage is 20 years, and I'm trying to remember what antique is, 75 years. But I try to go by the 30 and the 100-year mark. So I'm thinking he could be as old as 30 years old. I don't think 100 years old. How do I know that? I don't. That's just a pure guess. But I thought he was fantastic. So let's see if he can zoom in. Look at that face. I thought he was wonderful, and he's standing with a bird. I'm sure the bird is symbolic. And yeah, he's just an old wise man, and I said yes to him. I paid $1.99 for him, I believe. $2.99. I paid $2.99 for him. Let me just say that I'm not sure about the wood on him. I think this might be either rosewood or mahogany. Both rosewood and mahogany have, I'm gonna call it like a red hue. It's not red like, like the primary color red. It's more of, how could I say this? It doesn't have gold tones. You know when a woman colors her hair brown and you can see there are either red tones in it or blonde tones or lighter brown tones? That's how I tell wood. So this is red tone. A lot of times red tone will be mahogany. Mahogany is very heavy though. This is not heavy, so my guess is rosewood. Feel free, if you know anything about woods or what that wood looks like to you, to leave a comment down below. I'm never offended. When you guys just let me know what I have or give me your opinion, and you do it with such respect, I welcome that. So absolutely leave a comment down below if you know what wood my wise man is made out of. Next, let me just say, I'm acknowledging that this is supposed to be a hard goods haul, but I found this item that it was very interesting to me. This is a pair of men's Air Jordan Jumpman shorts, basketball shorts. And I believe these are vintage. I haven't done any research, but just going by this label here, it says Jordan on it. and more so by the wings with Air Jordan. I thought these were very good. Now for shorts in that store, I believe I paid $4.50, and I'm gonna guess off the top of my head that I'm gonna put these on for between $60 and $65. Yep, they're in great condition. What size are these? These are a size men's extra large. So I said yes to these. Even though I was doing a lot of hard goods that day, I picked up only about 20 pieces of clothing. This was one of them, and I felt that these were very desirable and they're in great shape. So I said yes to these. The next item that I wanted to show you was a Department 56 in-box animated perfect putt. This is a battery operated compatible, so it goes with other pieces. Now let me just say, it looks like it has not been used, but it is missing some of the little golf balls. So the way I know that is I looked at what's included or supposed to be included, and then I do open the box to see what's in there and take a look at everything. Now the box was not sealed when I got it, but even if it had that round clear sticker that comes from the store that's showing that it's sealed, I go ahead and open to make sure what I'm advertising on my listing is actually in the box. So this has all the pieces except it's missing 3 little tiny golf balls, but I felt this was very good. I did run comps because I don't pick up a lot of Department 56. I mean, I do pick it up, but for Department 56, I always run comps because there are a lot of items and I wouldn't be able to keep track of all of that. So I said yes to this. I believe because it's missing the 3 balls, what do I have this on for? I'm gonna say I have this on for 40 something, but if you have one in great, new condition, these can bring very good money. So I said yes to this. I paid, what did I pay for this? I'm gonna say I paid about $4 or $5. I don't remember what I paid, but I said yes. All right, we are making progress here. I'm gonna show you the next item that I knew nothing about. Guys, when I tell you that I know nothing about items, 2 things. I truly know nothing about the item, but more so, I want to show you that even if you don't have a lot of knowledge, don't be discouraged. We are able to run comps, and as you thrift, as you go along, you will become better and better if you stay concentrating on the quality of an item, and you can run comps. I mean, so that's a great thing. So never feel that, people that are doing this full time and making $100,000 a year or selling a lot, have anything that you don't have access to. So it takes time to learn some of this, but the majority of it is just checking comps. And I want to encourage you that don't feel you have to know a lot about all of this because there's so much to thrift. When I go out into the thrift stores, the amount of items, different items, can be overwhelming. I look and I say, oh my gosh, there's so much I don't know anything about. But I just go by what I like, what seems quality, what might be very desirable to different groups. And yeah, that's how I thrift. So let's look at the next item I know nothing about. This item is a bag, and this is put out by a company called Stitch. If you can see that. It's a beautiful bag. And I thought it was just a regular travel bag, a men's duffel bag, but this is actually for golf. Now I believe this is for when a gentleman is traveling and he wants to bring, change of clothes, his golf shoes, things like that. It's not for the golf equipment as far as I know. I'm gonna see if I can show you the label inside. So this says, Stitch, vintage and modern, designed in the USA using vintage motorsport inspiration to create a luxury product allowing you to dress your game. So that's my understanding. I haven't done research yet. I haven't looked at it thoroughly or photographed it, so I will let you know what this brings. But I did run a very quick comp in the thrift store to see what this was, and they all mentioned golf. So I'm taking it that this is for a gentleman, going from the office to play golf, and he has his golf clothing packed. So basically, a travel clothing suitcase, travel clothing bag. And I said yes to this. Now, what did I pay for this? I want to say I paid $6.50 for this. And what am I thinking this is going to bring? I'm going to guess about the $70 mark. It doesn't look to be used, but I will disclose that it's not brand new, most likely, unless I'm sure something is brand new. I don't use that term. The next item was crazy. I don't know if I should have picked this up, but very unusual. Is another Tiki in a bright cobalt blue with gold trim. I thought this was very good. Here's some sort of cat, some kind of Egyptian cat god crawling up the Tiki man. I have no knowledge of this either. That's what the bottom looks like. And I wasn't sure if this was like a figurine, a statue, a fish tank piece. I don't know what I have here. But I said yes to it. I paid $2 or $3 for it. And yeah, we'll see how well I do describing this. Is this listed? You know what? I don't even know what point this is at in the process. I think I have this listed. I'll have to check. But I said yes to him. There are a lot of people collecting Tiki items out there, and so when I see a Tiki, I do give it special attention. And the last item that I'm going to show and end with is a denim jacket that I found in, where was I? Where did I find this? I found this in a thrift store that I did the shopping video for, and this was called Reuse It. This was in New Holland, Pennsylvania, and they have bins upstairs. The bins are made out of wood, very old school, very country, very fun, and the items were 50 cents a piece. I think I showed finding this jacket. So this is a men's denim jacket with a blanket lining. Always yes to blanket linings, in my opinion. Really, really nice, put out by Woolrich. I don't know what year this is from. It does have the prior owner's initials penned in there, which I will leave. I'm not going to clean that. And I will look at the jacket for the care instructions of how to clean this. This jacket has no smells or stains that I've found other than the marking inside the collar, but I will take a look at it and give it special care because I think this is really nice. Now there is a button missing off one of the cuffs, so I will try to match it or see if there is a button that I can purchase because I think this jacket is going to do well. I'm expecting probably, I'm going to say around the $60 to $70 mark for this jacket. Leather collar, really nice, and I said yes to it. So I think I'm going to end there with all of this craziness. Thanks so much for staying with me today and keeping me company. And as always, go out and get what's yours. Bye, guys.